Preface. Before installing this product, please read the accompanying manual carefully. This product has professional safety technical parameters, requirements for installation, and it is not recommended for average users to install it by themselves. Our company does not bear any responsibility for product damage and consequential losses caused by improper self-installation. Preparation before installation. Put on protective goggles and gloves. Before working at heights, you must wear a safety helmet and wear special safety protective clothing for high-altitude operations. Surround the installation area with warning lines to ensure the safety of the construction process. Prepare consumables provided by the user according to actual site conditions. The main tools used during the installation process. For concrete installation, as an example, tools provided by the user. Main box showcase. List of items in the box. Note: the steel wire rope is located at the bottom of the foam. Installation principle: prioritize the assembly steps that can be completed on the ground to reduce the time of high-altitude operations. Motor installation: cut off the appropriate lengths of the cable. Take out the lifting rod. Pass the cable and motor safety rope together through the lifting rod. Pass the cable and motor safety rope together through the lifting rod. Connect the ground wire yellow-green line of the motor's focal wire, and do a good insulation treatment. The ground wire must be labeled when connecting. Connect the other 3 core wires one by one, and do a good insulation treatment. If the motor reverses after installation, that is, the motor rotates but there is no wind, as long as you switch any 2 core wires except the ground wire at the controller terminal, the motor can operate normally. Lifting rod installation. Align the side with the lifting rod screw hole with the motor shaft screw hole and set it vertically. The lifting rod screw first passes through the square finger ring and the balancing block, after passing through the upper hole of the lifting rod. Install another balancing block, square finger ring, and spring ring and tighten the nut. The lower sides are respectively installed with machine combination screws, pre-tightened with an electric wrench and then reinforced with a torque wrench, with a corresponding torque of 100 Nm. Finally, mark with a screw marker pen. The wiring of the motor power cable to the controller is not described here. Fan blade installation. Fan blade plug installation. Take out 6 blade plugs and blade plug screws from the fan blade packaging. The blade plug is installed on one end of the single screw hole of the fan blade. Start installation from the tip of the blade plug. Align. Gently tap with your hand, do not overdo it. Insert the screw and tighten the nut. High altitude operation part. Please wear a safety belt and helmet during high-altitude operations. The safety belt should be anchored to a solid place with sufficient load-bearing capacity. Take out the pull-out screws and lifting rings from the lifting frame screw bag. Drill holes at the upper edge of the lifting frame installation position and install the lifting rings used as an anchor point for the safety belt. During installation and in the later stage of installation, this anchor point will become the fixed point for the motor safety rope. Installation of the lifting frame, concrete side mounted as an example. The lifting frame installation position should be 80, and the bottom of the lifting frame should be no less than 80 mm from the bottom of the beam. Fast forward continuously. The lifting frame should be installed horizontally. The pull-out screws must be tightened and checked. Finally, mark with a screw marker pen. Motor hoisting. Lift the motor with the installed lifting rod to the lifting frame slot. Align the screw holes past the lifting rod screw that has already installed a square finger ring through the upper hole, and pass the other set of lifting rod screws in reverse through the lower hole. Place the end into the square finger ring and a spring ring to tighten the nut. Ensure that the motor is naturally vertical. Retighten the lifting rod screw with an electric wrench, then reinforce with a torque wrench with a corresponding torque of 100 Nm. Finally, mark with a screw marker pen. Installation of the motor safety rope. Pull out the motor safety rope. Insert 3 steel wire rope cart heads. Pass through the lifting ring and then through the cart head to tighten the steel wire rope. Hide the excess part inside the lifting rod. Installation of the blank climber line. According to the length of the lifting rod, take 1.5 meters as an example to locate the installation position of the climber line lifting ring. The height of the boom is equal to 1.5 meters. The length measured for the first time is 1.5 meters. The length measured for the second time is 1.5 meters. After 2 measurements, find the appropriate lifting ring installation point. According to the actual situation on the site, determine the fixed installation points of the 4 climber lines in the same way. After the 4 climber lines are installed, they should form a 90-degree angle with each other to maximize the bearing capacity of the climber lines. Use the end of the climber line that has been installed with the cart head to fix it to the lifting ring. Pay attention to the correct installation method. Combine the pre-loosened screw flower basket with the iron ring buckle. Pass the steel wire rope through 2 buckles. Pass through the flower basket hole, and then pass through the buckle again. Hang it to the balance plate hole of the lifting rod. Pre-tighten the steel wire rope and tighten the screw. Leave about 10 cm of steel wire rope. The other 3 use the same operation. Fast forward continuously. Dynamic adjustment of motor level. Adjust the motor to a horizontal state by adjusting the tightness of the flower basket. It is recommended that the error be within 0.5 degrees as the best. Fast forward continuously. Fan blade installation. Prepare 6 fan blade press plates. Facing the motor, observe the motor fan blade installation position. There are 2 hexagonal screws without caps. This position is the last installation position of the fan blade. We start installing the fan blade from the right side of this position. Back out the screw. Slowly buckle the fan blade by shaking. Do not exert excessive force. Place the fan blade press plate. Note: first manually screw in the nut, then use an electric tool to tighten the screw. Avoid forcefully damaging the product. Fast forward continuously. The following steps are very important. Use the digital torque wrench. Set the pre-value torque to 100 Newton meters. Reinforce all fan blade screws respectively. Draw an anti-loosening mark on the screw with a marker pen. The high-altitude operation link is completed. Controller installation. The selection of the controller position should be based on the principle of proximity to the motor. It should be installed in a place without covering objects. Use a Phillips screwdriver to remove the screws from the bottom of the controller. Remove the faceplate of the controller. Align the controller with the pre-drilled expansion anchor locations and screw it in. Remove the faceplate of the controller. Open the conduit entry of the controller. Pull down the power switch to disconnect the power. Stick on under construction, do not power on. Connect the wires to the controller. Install the faceplate. Tighten the screws at the bottom of the controller. Turn on the power switch to restore power. Turn on the controller power switch and press the start button. The fan starts to operate. The correct operation of the fan leaf is counterclockwise rotation. If reversal occurs, place at the controller terminal. Switch the order of any two lines of UVW.